please. And Guidry goes, let's go look at something that took place 40 years ago. Who cares? Okay, that's political.
Welcome on behalf of International Broadcast Media, IBM TV, to another edition of The Lawyer's Den. Kind of cantankerous, conversational, sometimes poignant, fighting a group of people that really think about things so that you don't have to think about them when it comes to the law. So with that, I want to bring in, if I may, because I know he's out there. He's always lurking around. My boss, Nicholas Palavita. Nick?
Well, hello, Mr. Bill. Oh, that's the name of another thing that people saw a long time ago.
Yeah, that always got run over.
Yeah, right. That went under. Yeah, so it's another day, another dollar at the Lawyer's Den. And let's see. Do you want to bring in some of these den people, since you're the den master?
Yeah, I mean, actually, do I get to choose who to bring in first?
You could, yes, because you just let me know.
Okay. Let's see. I'm thinking, where's Georgia?
Oh, Lord. Okay, I think I know where that state is. All right. We'll introduce our resident from Georgia. Now, I'll just give you a little background. This gentleman did graduate from the University of Southern California. At least we think he did. He told us, so I guess he did. Never really sure about this guy. But then he went on to The Ohio State University and received his law degree. And I was so impressed because it wasn't the diploma mill that I actually expected from this man. Then he went on to New York University and received a master's in law, which is above a law degree, demonstrating that people can be educated above their intelligence. And then finally, he went to the University of Georgia, Georgia College, where he actually teaches students and kind of infiltrates the minds of others. And he's going to infiltrate the minds of us here, which he does every day at the Lawyer's Den. Let's bring in our professor, Adam Lamparero. Adam,
great to be here, Nick. How you doing?
I hope you enjoy my introduction. I'm trying to be creative. I certainly want to do the same introduction all the time. And since people see you in different lights, I forwarded you some of the comments that people were making. I don't know if you saw them, but your fan club, they're kind of weird. But anyway,
I love
that's
all my fans.
Oh, you do good. Okay, it's good. Okay, so you get another pick here for the den, Bill.
Okay, if I'm drafting, I want to draft from out west. Who do we have out west?
Well, there's only one person out west, one person brave enough to leave the United States of America. And this gentleman did so. And he didn't go to Australia, though he said he did. He may have. But instead, he went to a place called BYU, Brigham Young University, where he received his law degree, which may be part of the United States. If you've been to Provo, it may not be. Then after he received his law degree, he went on to George Washington to receive his master's in law. So he's another LM candidate. He got me into the Supreme Court of the United States. So let's bring in our other person who's admitted before the Supreme Court of the United States, Jeff Teichert. We have to have a Supreme Court. Yeah, you might have made a mistake getting into the United States Supreme Court as an attorney there, but it was really cool because I got to sit up with Justice Scalia and all the people that Adam worships, and I just say, Matt, just another lawyer. But anyway, that's your guys. All right, so anybody else on the pick?
Yeah, I want to go to Miami. Can we go
to Miami? Okay, yes, we actually have another attorney from Miami. Actually, the history of this lady is she's from Lithuania, and she came to the United States to bring class to the United States of America. And what she did, she arrived at the University of Denver, which I also went to law school there too. And at the University of Denver, she received her Juris Doctorate. But just like everybody else on this panel, with the exception of one other person, she went on and received her master's in law, which is above a law degree. It's a teaching law degree that only two panelists that we're not going to mention don't have. And then after she did that, she went and got admitted to the Florida Bar Association, where she is a specialist in immigration law. Let's bring in Guidry Stantonite. Guidry, welcome to the show.
I have to say. Anthony's just another attorney, really.
What?
I'm closing my remark.
The best
you're not
the U.S. Supreme Court.
No, you're not just another attorney. You're the class of the legal profession. Shows that we can actually have some class. I mean, seriously, Guidry, the rest of these people, come on. Okay, so it is what it is. So, are there any other picks, or should we just go on from here?
Well, no. One more pick.
Really?
My defense attorney, and that is from New York. I'll leave it to you, Nick.
I'll introduce this person. This person actually hails from the state of New York, where he went to the school at State University of New York at Buffalo. Then after he shuffled off to Buffalo, he got shuffled off into New York City, the big banana, where he currently got admitted to the New York bar. Tough bar to pass, but this guy, he passed it. And with that, he became a street fighter. Those are the people that fight in the Boweries of New York and in the backyards of New York and whatever court in New York, whatever smelly courthouse, this guy goes to them all. Let's bring our street fighter in from New York City, Fernando Leal.
Hey, everybody. Great to be back.
Yes, welcome back to the Lawyer's Den. And of course, person that we have as our den master, who keeps the Lawyer's Den under control, who also has a Juris Doctorate degree. Where'd they get these people from? William Trezevant, the den master, who tries to keep sanity in this whole organization, which I'm not really sure of. So, Bill, what are we doing here today? What's the story?
Ooh, tough. We're going to be talking about immigration. It's been a tough subject for the last, I would say, a number of years. It's always been a tough subject. On that point, I wanted to just say that I brought my immigrants, my people here, and they're here watching you guys, just in case you guys screw up. But in that regard, we're going to talk about immigration. There's a new policy or proposal out there. And for that, I want to turn the table over to Guidry. Guidry, can you bring us up to date on what's going on here in Miami? You're my subject matter expert. To lead us off, please.
Well, what's going on? Immigration is definitely the place where action is happening right now. It's probably easier to ask what is not going on. And there are a lot of things that are happening. You heard already about DACA being reinstated. The travel ban is being killed. And probably the most famous or infamous buzzword right now is the proposed bill that this administration is introducing. And it would specifically target 11 million immigrants without a legal status and provide to them 8-year pathway to the citizenship. And how it would work, primarily after 5 years, a person would be able to apply for a green card. And then after 3 years, if the person maintains his moral or her moral character, pays taxes, lives according to the beautiful United States rules, the person can apply for citizenship. So it's not automatically granted. It would be based on individual cases, fulfilling all of the requirements. Also, what is interesting about this proposed bill, very comprehensive bill, I'm still getting to know it. It's over 400-page long, but it also targets agricultural workers as providing them a faster way to legalize. Also, it addresses DACA recipients, providing them an opportunity to legalize. And of course, it mentions a little bit the border security. It mentions a new technology to be able to provide more comprehensive approach to the security of our United States. Republicans automatically saying that it's not sufficient, but we'll see where it's going to go. I do not think that this whole immense, beautiful immigration package is going to be approved. However, I think piece by piece, it's definitely a good beginning. I like it.
Okay, well, I have a couple of quick questions. First, it seemed to me that when I read the package, which was, and to your credit, I didn't read all of it, but it proposed two different pathways to citizenship. One's a 3-year, one's an 8-year. Now, what do you know about that? Unmute.
Thank you. So 3 years would be targeted to specific professions or something of interest to the United States economy, such as agricultural workers, technology, science. When it comes to 8 years pathway, is probably the pathway that would be primarily and generally approached to the masses of the immigrants.
Okay, and HB1 visas, HB1B, and then can you tell us about that in this bill?
So that specifically, it also talks about this visa is difficult to get. It is a lottery based. It has to have a lot of different moving particles, and it also has quota. When it comes to the proposal, there is an open door to try to make it more comprehensive, more approachable, really not to waste so much resources, so much time for professions and professionals that are needed to the economy of the United States. So identify them and also come up with a more straight stream process to the legalization, residency, and citizenship. Because right now, the United States Customs Immigration Office, like USCIS, is incredibly backlogged. It takes months and years to receive, especially now after COVID-19, to receive even receipt of the application received by the office. And why I am a big fan of this movement towards the comprehensive reform is that something had to be done. We have more than 11 million people living in shadows, and for years and years and years, the immigration system is not able to keep up. It's incredibly backlogged, and in order to move forward, we really have to first address that group of the people living in shadows, and then move forward.
Okay, thank you. That is really good. Now, Jeff, and I want to remind you, Jeff. Yesterday, in a previous conversation, you and Guidry were on the same side. Now, are you going to be on the same side on this immigration thing now, Jeff? I just want to hear your opinions. What are your thoughts?
Partly. I do like the idea, for example, that they're going to provide an 8-year path to citizenship for the dreamers. I believe that is something that has to be done. We've got to legalize the folks that came here illegally, through no fault of their own. Their parents brought them here when they were 5 years old or something. We've got to address that. One of my disappointments in reviewing the details of this bill, and I want to see more emphasis on border security as well. I understand border security is not the only concern, and that most of the people who are here illegally came in legally and overstayed their visa. However, when we talk about the people that Donald Trump was always demonizing, the criminals and so on, I think by and large those are the ones that are swimming the Rio Grande. I think we have a right as a nation to know who's coming in and to know what they're doing here, and that is an important element of the policy that I would like to see the Republicans try to add to this. I will add as well that I also believe Democrats and Republicans need to work across the aisle on this. This is 20 years too late. This should have been done a long, long time ago. We need comprehensive immigration reform. We need a more streamlined process to get people to be able to come in legally and make it much harder to come in illegally.
Okay. No, opening. And I appreciate that, because we're going to get back into the scrum in a second. Adam.
Well,
first, before you say anything, I do have to say this. I want to give a shout out to your team. your moot court team that you trained and taught to argue, that I understand beat Boston College twice and the University of Mississippi, and then went on and just did right by Georgia College. And that's because they never even won an award for the prior 5 years. So I wanted to say that up front because, Adam, you and I differ from time to time, and sometimes I don't like your arguments, but your team that you trained, I have to say, impressive.
Well, thank you, Bill. I really appreciate it.
Congratulations also, Adam.
Thank you, Nick. Thanks so much.
It's good to hear your team did really well. And who was their coach that helped them out so much?
That was me, but I have to give
seriously.
It really was me, but I can't take any credit. The students were just that talented, so they're wonderful, and I'm glad to be associated with them. Regarding immigration, first, I just like to say 3 quick things. First, don't be misled by what Guidry said about a travel ban. There was never a travel ban. There were heightened restrictions on 7 countries that President Obama deemed as terrorism-sponsoring countries. There was no limitations on Saudi Arabia or Bangladesh, which is the highest Muslim population in the world. So this idea of a Muslim ban or a travel ban makes no sense. Number 2, we need comprehensive immigration reform. And I didn't hear Guidry spend 1 second talking about securing the border or what her strategies would be to secure the border. I didn't hear Guidry talk about restricting Obama's executive order restricting ICE's ability to deport people who have been convicted of crimes. And as far as the 11 million immigrants go, I do agree with Guidry that we should give them a path to citizenship. But make no mistake, they broke the law when they entered here illegally. And for those that entered here illegally, if they've been convicted of any crimes, including DWIs and low-level felonies, they should be deported. And lastly, I want to get high-quality immigrants, people who are smart, people who have tech skills, people who are going to contribute to the economy. So let's talk about that.
Okay, excellent. Which, Fernando, unmute, and then please have at it. Path to citizenship, 3-year, 8-year, illegal, crossing the border, swimming. Fernando, how are you thinking about things, Fernando?
I'm with Jeff and with Adam on this one. I have here, I looked through what the White House put out called a fact sheet. President Biden sends immigration bill to Congress as part of his commitment to modernizing our immigration system. And another article from JS Jurisprudence or something. In all honesty, why bother having immigration laws after I read this? Just listen, just let everybody come here, open up camp, and do whatever they want. In terms of border security and the tech that is listed in here, it's centralized on trying to catch drug dealers and people who are smuggling in drugs and supposedly human traffickers, which that part I agree, because nobody ever talks about the coyotes who take women to the rape fields of Texas and then turn them into sex slaves. That's also a part of this that nobody ever discusses. You can shake your head, but it is a part of this and it's not discussed. I think that the border on the south needs to be more secure. The tech that should be invested in should be things like drones, which would cover wider swaths of spaces. You're not gonna like my idea. My idea is that those drones should be weaponized and people should, if they're crossing over and running over in here legally, just shoot them down. They're not citizens, they're illegal aliens, not non-citizens or undocumented individuals and the rest of that nonsense. As for the northern border, which everybody seems to ignore, in all honesty, when I was in law school, getting across into Canada in the 90s was very easy. You went to Canada, you answered 3 questions. When you came back, you answered 3 questions. Post 9/11, it is far more difficult. They do pull you over. You have to show either your passport or your enhanced license that has the flag of the United States on it. There is more security on the northern border than there was previously. Should it be tightened up a little bit more? Maybe. But, you know, might as well, in all honesty, this should just get ripped up. Let everybody sit here, do whatever they want. I do agree. The kids, DACA, I am in agreement with that one. The only problem then becomes, what do you do with the parents who are still illegally? Me personally, I ship the parents back.
No. Fernando, listen, as part of the proposal, it makes it easier to reunite parents, because once you have an American citizen, which is kind of what Trump did, with his wife, once she was she brought in her parents and everybody else. And so the new bill proposes that will be okay. But look, I'm going to leave that alone for a minute.
One thing, Bill, since you brought it up, I did see that. But here's the problem. The parents still came in here illegally. So now you're letting them jump the line over people who have been sitting online waiting to get here legally. And that's the biggest problem that I have. That's always going to be a problem. And I will never agree with any of this, whether people like it or not. I don't.
I like it.
I get, and I'm feeling your strength there, Fernando. But Nick, please, because is your country club going to be sworn?
Well, the thing is, see, here's the problem: is that because of our laws and our policies are so backward and poor, it radicalizes people like Fernando. So he turns into this weird right-wing radical, only because the laws and policies are really poor. Part of it deals with in New York itself, as I said before. The Statute of Liberty has things on there that we don't believe, and frankly, we shouldn't believe. What should we believe in? Remember, we have a real problem here in the United States. We are being overtaken by China economically. By year 2030, we will be the world's #2 power in the world, not #1 anymore. Part of it is because of our immigration policies. We're not bringing in enough people to actually support some of our systems, such as Social Security. So I'll do like Adam, since I have the floor now. There's 3 things that we should look at when we bring an immigrant in. Number 1, do they have money? Believe it or not, most countries, if you're going to immigrate in the country, they want to see your pocketbook. How much money you're going to bring, how many jobs you're going to bring, what do you bring to the party? That should be number 1. Then number 2, are you educated? That's one of the few things I agree with Adam on. Or do you have a significant education that you can bring a contribution to the party? So the thing is, if you actually are educated or you're wealthy, you should be allowed in. And the third factor is, are you a hard worker? In other words, can you demonstrate the fact you have a history of being a hard worker? If you meet all 3, I don't care what country you're from, the doors should open up. But what happens if you don't have those 3? You're saying, well, I just want to kind of like hang out in the United States because I heard your welfare system was great. No, you send them back. That is not a person who's going to be in this country. We cannot afford that particular person. So you wrap them up and say, what happens if it's, well, there's a war in my country? That's not my problem. That's your problem, and you're going to have to figure it out. Because if you don't meet those 3 criteria, out the door you go, buddy. We are not interested. America is closed. But if you do meet one of those 3 prongs, open the door. But we don't even have that policy.
Okay, no.
Then we can create laws that support that.
No, and I appreciate that. I know your people have been here since Plymouth Rock.
No, 1655 or 1665, Bill.
Okay, well, fine. Nick, may I, please? Because some of my people, Plymouth Rock landed on them. For the others, they came over here over the boat. And you know what they did? They had maybe a couple of ducats in their pockets. And then they brought their brother and their brother and their brother, and they wouldn't have been here. And no, they didn't meet your 3-prong test. And so, with that in mind...
You mean they weren't hard workers?
No, they were hard workers.
Then they meet the 3rd part of the test. All you have to do is demonstrate one of the 3.
Right now, I'm literally not listening to you right now.
I'm okay with a hard worker.
No, they were not country club members. Adam, and then I'm coming to you, Jeff, and then Guidry, you're on deck. Adam, Jeff, Guidry, please.
Well, like I said, we need comprehensive immigration reform, and that starts with securing the border. Number 1. Number 2, if we're going to give a path to citizenship, fine, but it should only be for people who have not violated the law. Number 3. People who are immigrating here. I want people from places like Serbia, from Eastern Europe, from Norway, Finland. People who are intelligent, people who have not been convicted of crimes, people who are going to contribute something to this country. And 3, let me remind everybody in the audience, we are in a pandemic and have just spent trillions and trillions of dollars. We don't need to be taking in immigrants who are going to tax the system. I agree 100% with Nick. And I want to hear Guidry's prescriptions on how to secure the border.
Did you just say, I will take only white people?
I did not say only. I said
Serbia and this and that.
I said I would take people from places such as Serbia, the Nordic countries, and Mexico too, provided that they are hardworking, educated, and they're going to contribute something to our economy.
You're ridiculous. Jeff.
Okay, I'm ridiculous.
No.
And Joe Biden doesn't even know what day it is.
Yeah, okay, fine. Not fair, but cool. Jeff, please, because your brother-in-law is not from Serbia. Can you tell us about that, please?
Yeah, well, first of all, congratulations to Nick for finally seeing the light on this. Every time this subject comes up, usually he's complaining about wanting to sell the Statue of Liberty. So I'm glad he's finally agreed that we have to have some limits on who we bring into the country. Yes, I have a brother-in-law who was in Ethiopia. He was admitted to an American university with a scholarship waiting. He was married to an American woman, and it took him 2 years to get his green card to come into the country. Now, as far as I'm concerned, he has an admission to a university. We know why he's coming here. He has a scholarship. He's now attending that university. He was married to an American citizen. That's a slam dunk. Why does that take 2 years? The process should be much more streamlined. He was actually able to get a work visa to go to China and teach English, which is his second language, but he was able to get into China. I mean, I have a 10-year visa to China that was granted me in 2017, and that's the country that won't let you have more than one kid because they have so many people. It is easier to get a visa to go to China than it is to come into the United States. That shouldn't be. For qualified individuals, it ought to be much easier. I do agree with what Adam said. There ought to be a path to citizenship for people who came in illegally if they were brought here by parents and had no choice in the matter.
Right.
I also agree with Fernando. Kick the parents out, make them go back home and get in line. And
Bust them out.
I don't think they should get any preference for having come here illegally.
Guidry, please. I think the rest of them are that cases. But go ahead. Guidry, what do you have?
I even don't know where to start. With the blanket statements, generalizations, labels, I hear the echo of President Trump's sentiments when I hear Adam talking about Norway and Sweden. I absolutely did not expect that kind of statement from you, Adam. I think you as a professor should know that there are hardworking and economically successful people in all the countries and driven people. And well,
that's
I'm
why I
going to pass
included
that.
Mexico.
When it comes to Jeff, the one-child policy in China is a long time gone. In China, I would not even compare China to United States. If a lot of people might want to go to China to visit and come back. United States is a country that has this American dream that really attracts everyone around the world. It's still the best country in the world, and I agree we have to maintain America as the best, the strongest country in the world. I do believe in border security. And I think that this administration will be forced, either they want it or not, hopefully they do, to handle border security if they want to have bipartisan approval or movement forward towards the bill and execution of the bill. The new technology, I think, will open new doors. And I liked what was said about drones. Definitely not shooting drones doesn't make any sense legally, ethically, and morally. I will skip that. However, I do not believe in wall. I think that there should be something smarter, such as drones or different other technology. We will see. I like that this administration also is focused to try to invest in the countries that we have the highest numbers of refugees coming from, such as the Triangle countries. I think it's very important to look into the immigration with a little microscope to see that illegal immigration usually comes, not usually, but big part of it is based on the asylum seekers. And that's a completely different group of people. The legal immigrants, the problem with that is that a lot of people might come and overstay the visa and then try to readjust their status. We cannot, in this world, having United Nations Declaration for Refugees and being part in agreement and the precedent, historic and legal, just close our doors to the refugees and what's happening in the world. I do believe that we could scan it we could approach them better. And I think that's what's going to happen when this bill is going to be approved, when a lot of people already illegal will be provided with an opportunity to legalize if they meet the requirements. No criminal, like right now, if someone has DUI, you automatically have a hearing for the deportation. A judge might give you an exception if you show the certain harm that would be caused if you were deported to the citizen of the United States. If you commit the second time, the second criminal act that goes specifically to your moral character, you are deported right away. We have a system in place. We also have ankle monitors for people to be released from detention centers that people released would be paying to the government to be able to maintain that ankle monitor. We can really comprehend it. And I think there also is the fact of, all right, I see Bill wants to talk, and
no, I just want to ask a question because you are on a roll. I guess I want to ask Nick.
Yeah.
Isn't this whole notion of the wave of immigrants coming in really a question of the fact that we, as Americans, can't deal with our the foreign policy stuff in the countries where they come from?
Mhm.
Meaning,
we have these ridiculous quotas that Adam loves, and it's absolutely horrible. It's all the European. No, we need to do like Guidry says. We need to open up the borders more, not like Fernando. Let's close it. No, guys. We are heading in the wrong direction. You need to open up the borders and bring a lot more people into the United States if you have any chance of competing with China and India that have 1.3 billion people each. But we can be very selective, and we should be. You're rich, you can get in. You bring jobs, you get in. You're educated, you get in. You're a hard worker, you get in. And open these bloody borders up. Don't do like Fernando. We're going to put all these border walls up. We're going to run drones up and down. Forget that. No, that's a stupid policy. America was built on adding more people to America and having more people work here. So we need more, basically almost an open border. Another reason we need it, whether you like it or not. Our Social Security system is heavily taxed. It's a pay-as-you-go system. We need people to go to work to support the old people here in the United States. We can't do this with this crazy, horrible, ridiculous immigration policy that's been going on for decades. Now, if you put all the laws together we have right now and they string all the garbage out there, what do? You have immigration laws that make people like Guidry rich because no one can figure it out. And so, but the thing is, that's not what we need. We need to have simpler immigration laws, more open borders, bring people in, 3 criteria. You're rich, just like all the other countries do, Bill. You got the money, you can come and play in the United States. You bring jobs, you can play in the United States. You're highly educated, you're in here. If we can show you you're a hard worker, you're in here. If you're anybody else, go back home. We don't need you. And frankly, we can't afford you. Go look at our national debt relative to our GDP. We cannot afford this anymore. So that's the policy has to change.
Nick, we have the statute.
And by the way, one last thing. We do sell the Statute of Liberty and also all those crazy Confederate statutes that Adam has in Georgia and get money for them to pay down the national debt.
You're going to be silent for a moment. Fernando, I'm coming to you. Jeff, and Adam, I'm coming to you. And Jeff, I'm coming to you. Nick is in kind of a timeout. Fernando, please.
Yeah, Nick and this ridiculous idea of selling the Statue of Liberty is just stupid. And it's just, just inflammatory statements to try and get under people's skin, which don't work. Because really his third prong of hardworking people is what the Statue of Liberty stands for. So right there, you're in agreement with the Statue of Liberty. You want to take it and twist the words around later, go right ahead. We're still going to ignore you. Our biggest problem with immigration is this country's insistence, especially in the South, which is primarily agrarian, of wanting cheap labor that they can control. The other issue is we have laws on the books that if you hire illegal immigrants and you don't provide the proper paperwork, the owners of the company can face criminal charges. Every time I read a story that a company is caught, nobody enforces the criminal prong of the statute. They make them pay the fine. And because these are white collar individuals who are CEOs, they pat them on the back and say, hey, just don't do it again. No, throw their ass in jail. You start throwing people in jail, guess what? You're going to start cutting down on them hiring illegal immigrants. Refugee status. It used to be once upon a time that the government said who would get refugee status, and then I guess it changed when I was a kid. So people from Eastern European Jews, Cuba, Haiti, they should go back to that instead of letting you get here and then say, hey, I meet the criteria for, refugee. No, get out.
Okay.
Get out.
Adam, please. Adam. Unmute Adam, please.
What I'd like to say to the audience is, number one, Guidry, you misrepresented Trump's executive order. It was not a travel ban. And you also misrepresented me when you said that what I said sounded like Trump. I included Mexico in my statement about the immigrants that I would want in this country. And I'm going to repeat like a broken record what I said before. We have to secure the border before anything can be done. That's the predicate to anything. Number two, we have to have high-quality people here, people with college degrees, people who are hard workers. Otherwise, they're going to tax our economy, tank our economy, and we don't need that in the middle of a pandemic in which we're drowning in debt. Number three, I do agree giving a path to citizenship for those who are already here if they have not broken any laws. And number four, let's be very clear about asylum seekers. 90% of them are absolutely frivolous. Frivolous. It's a joke. So let me be clear.
What
we
is
need to restrict.
What is your source that 90% is frivolous?
Excuse me?
What is the source that you're saying that 90% of asylum seekers and the claims that are frivolous?
Dozens of empirical studies, which I will provide to you. The bottom line, Guidry, is I want to know how you're going to secure the border. You still haven't answered that question. I have a four-point plan. Why don't you address that question instead of misrepresenting me?
No, stop. She said, what is your source?
You misrepresented
me. Said, you have to answer
my question. With the Confederate flag nonsense, really?
Oh my God. Jeff, I need your help here. Okay.
Counselor, it was the Confederate statutes you have draping all up and down Georgia.
Distinction without a difference.
Pay down the national debt. People in China may buy your Confederate statutes, dude. Sell them, pay down the national debt, and get rid of that stupid Statute of Liberty.
Whenever you want to secure the border, they call you racist, right?
Okay. Right, Adam. Yeah. You're always Jeff, please.
On border security, I think it's a real issue. I think it is difficult to know exactly what we need to do about it. Now, I am for the wall on the southern border, but what about the northern border? I have mentioned on the show before, I had a friend who lived right near the border of Canada, and someone attempted to carjack her car as she's backing out in the evening. One evening, she was able, thankfully, to get away and got on her cell phone and called 911, and the Border Patrol came out and picked this guy up. He was a member of Al-Qaeda from Pakistan, and he had walked across the Canadian border. Now, Nick and I both lived up in this particular area. He can tell you, and I can tell you, there are places you can just drive along the Canadian border at this place called Boundary Road, and the only thing separating the United States and Canada is a ditch that you could literally take a step over, and there's no one there looking, there's no drones, there's no cameras. You could literally walk across the border completely undefended. Now, how are you going to deal with a 3,000-mile border on the north? Because we do have dangerous people coming in on that border too. I think a wall is probably unrealistic. I mean, the Great Wall of China wouldn't cover that. So what are we going to do with our northern border? I think I do believe in border security.
No, we'll get to the wall again. I want to ask the panel this, and I want to do a quick round robin. There are two trains, and what they're talking about in Congress. There's a 3-year train, and that is for citizenship for DACA, agricultural workers, and then there's an 8-year train for other people. So essentially, the proposal says if you're picking cotton, picking lettuce, picking tomatoes, just picking, fine. Then you can come in 3 years, no big deal, everything's cool. 1, 2, if you're here and you're already in college and stuff, then you can stay too. But for everybody else who are washing the dishes and doing all the other work, you got to wait 8 years. How do you feel about that? Guidry, I'm going to start with you, please.
I feel okay about that. I think as long as there is a long-term plan, I do not have any resentment to that. When it comes to benefits, the green card will give you the same benefits. You can travel, you can work, you cannot bring certain family members until you are a citizen. So it gives you.
No, but Guidry, look, some people will get the green card in 3 years. Some people have to wait 8 years. But, it's the same green card. So why do those people with 3 years get it earlier than those with 8 years?
Well, we still need to have certain rules in order, and we need to make sure that the people who are being awarded of such a big privilege as the United States citizenship are worthy, and meaning that they would pay taxes, they would not commit crimes, they would live according to the rules, and it takes more time for everyone to be checked and to really straight up their acts. Quick point I just want to say to Adam, when it comes to travel ban, let's agree to disagree, because Adam, there is no way that you will convince me that it was constitutional for President Trump to incorporate the travel ban based on certain non-citizens based on their religious beliefs when we had statements that were so discriminatory. So the fact that Supreme Court decided not to hear the argument on discrimination of that doesn't mean that he was not discriminatory, and the fact that Saudi Arabia was not included in the list of 7 countries also does not justify.
That is your third misrepresentation tonight. That is a blatant
No. Adam, I'm going to come back to you. Fernando, I'm coming to you. Nick, I'm coming to you. Adam, get your argument ready. Fernando, please. Why do people with 3 years picking fruits and vegetables and/or who have advanced degrees? Why do you get a 3-year? Everybody else gets an 8-year, and nobody stood in line. Fernando?
So the farmer getting the 3 years is what I said before. It's our insistence on cheap labor. The people picking lettuce and everything else is cheap labor. So yeah, those agrarian factories want to get them to be green card holders as fast as possible, so that they don't have to pay any fines if they're caught using illegal immigrants. I have no issue with the person who's coming here for college, who's going to become a doctor, a nurse, an engineer, and getting a green card as quickly as possible and becoming a citizen as quickly as possible. My issue, you know what? Take everybody down south who is living on welfare, sucking up my tax dollars because I put in more into the system than I get back, ship them out into the farms and have them pick stuff. And we will get rid of this problem. They're already getting a paycheck to sit at home. So, hey, guess what? Round them up, put them in buses, drive them out there, make them go to work.
Nick.
There. Solves our problem.
Nick.
Well, of course, Fernando misrepresents the welfare system that exists predominantly in the Northeast in his city, where in New York City.
No.
In the
You love
southern
numbers, look them up.
in the southern states, we're very hard workers here. But also what gets me about Adam, he goes, yeah, highly educated and hard workers. I mean, never talks about bring the rich people in. Dude, what do you have against rich people? Rich people can do a lot for the United States. You got to open up the borders for those people to come in. Bring the wealthy people in, no matter what country they're from. Bring your hard workers, bring your educated workers, and stop this paranoid, oh, we got to secure the border. We have the technology. We could secure the borders. I mean, we could do it electronically. Guys, come on. So you're going to get rid of that automatically. But still, Bill, we haven't addressed the fundamental flaws that's happening in the U.S., and that's the national debt that exists. And the thing is, we need to get serious about it. We need to bring more people into this country that are hardworking, rich, and educated. And yeah, sell that stupid Statue of Liberty. It has the wrong thing on it anyway.
Well, I have a Statue of Liberty. Adam, I'm going to you, and Jeff.
Sell that too.
And so, Nick, I'm going to mute you because you don't even believe in liberty. Adam, and then Jeff, please. Unmute, Adam. I know you think you're godlike, but you have
here's my plan. I will not agree to give a path to citizenship for a single person in this country until we secure the border. Once again, Guidry hasn't said a word about that, quite conveniently. Once we secure the border, I will agree with Guidry and give a path to citizenship to the individuals who are already here. Number two, I want high quality people. I don't want thugs and degenerates coming into this country. I want people with an education from whatever country they are from, and I want diversity. All right. Now, Idri, when you said the travel ban was based on religion, you were incorrect, and the Supreme Court disagreed with you. If it was based on religion, if it was really a Muslim ban, why didn't Donald Trump ban immigration from Bangladesh, which is the largest Muslim population? Why do they only limit it to the 7 countries that Barack Obama said were terrorism-sponsoring countries? Your argument doesn't hold water. It's a third misrepresentation of my statements tonight, and I would appreciate it if we could talk more about immigration, because here's the bottom line. If there were 1 million Guidries that wanted to come into this country, I would say open the border in a heartbeat. I really would, but there's not. And we have to limit it to high-quality people who are going to contribute to our economy, especially in a time of a pandemic when we're in such huge debt.
So you're saying if there were 1 million Fernandos, you'd say no?
That I'm not sure about that now. Hold on, I said Guidries. I said Guidries.
No, you had your say. Fine, Jeff. You're up. No, I'm not. Okay, and then Guidry, I'm coming to you because apparently, all right, Jeff, go ahead.
First of all, I have to differ with Adam on letting 1 million Guidries in. I don't want 1 million more lawyers in the United States. There's already too many of us. But putting that aside, given what Bill just talked, I think Bill was talking about people picking vegetables and so on. I believe we need a better seasonal guest worker program. And there are people who come into this country in the summer months. They go to the San Joaquin Valley, they pick vegetables, they come here to Utah, they herd sheep. But then when winter comes and the labor is not needed on the farms in as great of numbers, they go back to Mexico or wherever they came from. They exchange their dollars for pesos, and they live pretty good the remainder of the year. The fact is, a lot of those folks are taking jobs that American citizens won't take, and they serve a valuable purpose in our economy. Why not just recognize it? I also want to point up, back in 2012 when Mitt Romney was running for president, he talked about voluntary deportation, and it created this whole furor. What he was talking about was turning off the magnets that bring illegal people in, basically making it so you can't get a job if you're here illegally, that someone won't be able to, the employer, if they hire you, will be punished if they're caught, and so on. The problem with that is, and Guidry can probably attest to this, there's whole pockets in different places in the United States where there's whole large families of illegal immigrants who have a cash-based sub-economy. They're taking in laundry. They're doing
No. Jeff, no, we're not going to do that. You already said you don't even want 1 million Guidries. Adam said he did. I mean, so you can't then turn around and tell 1 million Guidries that they're here on a cash economy. She's got an LLM. I don't even have an LLM.
Guidry's not here on a cash economy.
Yeah, but you don't even want 1 million Guidries.
Guidry's here legally, as I understand it.
I know, which is the implication that I'm objecting to. Nick, can you help Jeff out?
I'm not saying Guidry's here illegally. I'm saying there's all kinds of people that are just taking in laundry and stuff, and they're getting paid in cash.
Guidry's not taking it. She has an LLM. And look, Adam wants a million. You want none, and you want to make other people do laundry. Nick, seriously, I've never heard this in my life. Unmute, Nick, please.
Okay, I'm okay with 1 million Guidries and deporting Fernando. If we can accomplish that, the world would be a lot better place, especially my world. So that I would have no problem with. This way, we'd have really some forward-thinking people like Guidry, and then we get rid of this backward thinking like Fernando. And if you want to throw Adam out, that's fine too, because the thing is, he goes, "Oh, you got to secure the border before you do anything that's sane," So he can go back to wherever he can go back to Eastern Europe or whatever country he likes, also. And we'll bring 1 million Guidries in. Great idea. I don't know who proposed it, but I'm all for it. I second the motion, Counselor.
Fernando, please unmute, please. But Fernando,
I'm here. Yeah, the only part of Nick's statement is the hardworking people. The rest of it is all just a bunch of bunk because he's a 1%er. So he wants the 1% to come in and help him out. In all honesty, the people that need to get deported is someone like Nick, who doesn't believe in any of our institutions, who constantly talks about English common law, and that's what he likes, who brags about going to Oxford, even though he's not from nobility and had to sign the scroll as S.NOB. Go back to England. Go back there. You're the one that needs to really leave. As for immigration and the issues that we have here, I'm not for a wall. I don't think walls are effective. I think that the state of the technology that we have today, we can use various computer system, electronic systems, drones, and the likes to secure our borders better than counting on guys in Jeeps going up and down the border. They just can't cover enough ground. Pathways to citizenship, in all honesty, they've existed for how many years now? And the truth is, nobody takes advantage of them. Very few people take advantage of them. We keep coming up with new pathways to citizenships, shortening the time, so on and so forth. Again, you want to give kids, the DACA kids a pathway to citizenship? Fine. Like I said, their parents are still here illegally. They came in illegally. They broke the law. Throw them out. Anyone who comes in here illegally, throw them out. Period. As to this whole thing about rich people and educated people, those people rarely leave their countries because they have no reason to leave. So they're not really going to migrate here. The people that migrate here are people that are hardworking. I have no issue with that, and who need
no. I got
who will contribute to our society.
Okay, Guidry, Adam, and then Jeff, please. Guidry, you have the floor. Adam wants 1 million of you. Jeff doesn't care. I think Nicholas is agnostic, but everybody wants to deport Fernando. How do you feel about deporting Fernando?
I don't want to deport Fernando. I like Fernando. Fernando, come here to Miami. We'll figure out the sponsorship agreement, okay? But
not a problem. I'll be with my Cuban people. And they all forget that I'm American born here. They can't get rid of me.
Duh. Microphone. Boom. No, but so just to clarify, even when we talk about 3-5 year difference, path to citizenship, both groups of people would have work permit. Both groups of people would be able to work legally, and therefore they would not be abused by the calamity of huge institution of the farm abusers industries. Number one. Number two, family separation is a real thing. So even I do not understand how it could be advocated because it should be protected. And I do not think that it is possible because even if we're going to talk about dreamers, people who get certain legal status, especially citizenship, have a right to have their family with them. It's not in Constitution, it's a society moral ethical right. And also there could be a civil claim such as for unusual punishment or harm for being separated from the family. So I think it is off the table. We have to learn that if dreamers are going to stay, most likely the families are going to stay with them. When it comes to immigration, there are not a lot of ways, there are not a lot of paths to citizenship. It's difficult, it's backlog, it takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of money, and it takes a lot of effort. The laws are changing and society is changing. Why I like this bill? I do not believe that this bill is going to be approved in all of its corners and all of its particles. However, I think it's a right movement to a comprehensive and more sensible immigration system because the country, our society needs to readjust. As Nick said, right now we need to evaluate the industries where we need people and focus them and award them with 3-year path to citizenship. We also need to focus on certain procedures for certain people as economically driven. Even the 1%ers are good because you know what, guys? They employ people here. They add substantially to the economy and they want to come here. I work in an immigration law practice, and 50% what I do with refugees and another business. And there are a lot of intelligent people from all over the world who really are right now breaking their heads trying to figure out how to invest in their education and work here. So We'll love to talk about immigration. Actually, what's upsetting to me that we did not even touch the migrant protection protocols, the 25,000 people that are being allowed or being processed right now. At this moment, when we talk to entering to the United States, I would love to hear your arguments and to see, especially Adam being completely losing its mind, but probably maybe for the next time.
Okay, so I'm not the one who misrepresented me 3 times. Now, the reason I said that I would take 1 million Guidries is because Guidry is smart, she's hardworking, and she's a great attorney who contributes to the economy and to the society. I don't want thugs, and I don't want degenerates, and we should have a high standard. Make no mistake, audience, Guidry is for open borders. When I asked her the question about how she would secure the border, she said, I would have non-weaponized drones. That's like saying I'll give you a gun with no bullets in it. You have to secure the border. Then you have to have a path to citizenship for individuals and families who are here, but who have not engaged in criminal activity. Then you have to prioritize bringing in people who are intelligent, educated, and hardworking. We can have comprehensive immigration. Guidry wants open borders. I want smart borders.
Jeff, please. Unmute, Jeff. Jeff, unmute.
For the record, I think Guidry is delightful, and I don't want her or Fernando deported. My point was simply I don't want 1 million more lawyers. I think there's too many of us already. But having said that, I believe we do need a seasonal guest worker program for people who come in to work in agriculture, and that is the rhythm of life that they tend to adopt. And they're here taking jobs Americans won't take and provide a vital function in our economy. Now, with respect to what Adam just talked about, my big objection is the same as his when it comes to this bill. I don't see emphasis on border security. And while I do believe there is, I understand that most of the people that are here illegally came in legally and overstayed their visa. I don't think those are by and large, are the criminal population that Donald Trump was always raving about. I think the people that come in illegally, swim in the Rio Grande or whatever, are thugs and the killers that he was talking about. So I do believe we need border security because those people are sneaking in because they know that if they try to come across the border, they're going to be identified. And so we've got to do better at keeping those people out, the terrorists, the murderers, what have you. Also, just final thought, I almost got this point out before. There is among the illegal population a cash sub-economy, people taking in laundry or babysitting or whatever who are earning money under the table. They're not paying taxes. And people always talk about bringing them out of the shadows. Well, what that means is providing a path for them to become legal. Now, we've got to do a better job of identifying and finding those people because Mitt Romney was wrong. Voluntary deportation is not going to get those people to go back to wherever they came from. They're here and they are operating outside the system. And we have a big problem with that in America. I think it's far more than 11 million.
All right. Okay. Well, hang on. I haven't really said a whole lot on this, except that, Jeff, you're right. It's a larger thing. And they're forced on the cash economy to work on the cash economy because we won't let them in. That's one. Two, I want for our audience to put all of this in perspective. When we start talking about 25,000 or 50,000 or 100,000 people, we have a nation of 330 million people. 330 million. You know what 100,000 people is every year? Nothing. I mean, people eat more tuna fish and anchovies packed in cans each year. I mean, I don't even know why. Everybody's all up in arms about how do we take 100,000? This 25 doesn't get in. This 25, they got to wait 3 years. This 25, they got to wait 8. This 25, we got to do whatever. We're talking maybe 100,000. We are 330 million Americans. I don't know what 100,000 people are. We just lost 500,000 people in 1 year. I think there's room. Now, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Nick because he likes to land this plane.
Yeah, I'll land the airplane, but for the record, since my ancestors Thomas Vandermark did come over here in 1665 from the Netherlands, and yes, he was royalty. Sorry, Fernando. He was from the House of Mark, which also married the House of Orange, the House of Cleves, and from years basically from the 800s on. So just for clear the record, why would royalty come here in the Hudson Half Moon? And why do royalty even still come here today? It's because of the laws of primogeniture. You're not able to inherit, just like Harry. You run into problems with your family, like Harry did. Remember Prince Harry? He goes, I'm going to come to the United States. So please don't dismiss royalty ab initio, counselor. I know you're not familiar with it, but they do move around, and they will come to the United States if you change your stupid laws and your stupid immigration policies. And we were here 100 years before you guys decided to create a country. Just
Actually,
you're
talking to another blue blood buddy, so I'm very familiar with it.
Okay, well,
So you can drop the snobbery.
Grazie. So anyway, I guess we're going to end this on that note, and hope you enjoy this edition of Lawyer's Den, and we will see you next time. And Guidry goes, let's go look at something that took place 40 years ago. Who cares? Okay, that's political.